Hello, hello. Welcome to the Squirrel Circus podcast. I'm the Rainbow Squirrel, and today I'm joined by my co-hosts, Ian and Andy the Moss Guardian. Hello.
Hello,
Hello,
welcome back
featuring
And
Tufi.
yet one more time. Oh no,
not a
no,
paid sponsorship. YouTube, listen. We were
no,
not
no,
paid
no,
for
we
that.
cannot do that. We
We
cannot
were
do that.
not paid for
Are
that.
we
We are
big
not
enough
paid by this
for
either.
be
This
are
is
we big enough to be afraid of that?
it's never too early. YouTube.
Let's
We are
just
not
go and
getting paid.
expose every single brand that we have. And then
We're not getting paid, YouTube.
Let's
We're
start
not getting
over. Let's
paid.
start over.
And today we're going to be talking about the end of the world as interpreted by various mythologies and philosophies. And I guess there's no better place to start than Christianity, the Christian conception of the
Christianity.
eschaton, revealed to the Apostle John in his Apocalypse,
Check out our video 666, the album analysis, where we talk about that.
which will be linked down in the description.
Mm-hmm.
And something that really jumps out about this apocalypse and others, which we'll discuss, is that it's not really a final thing. It is
Mm-hmm.
a cleansing. It is a sort of a fiery doorway to a
Yeah, it's a
allegedly,
renaissance, no?
yeah,
It's a rebirth, kind of.
yes, it's a path to a better world through trials and tribulations and fire and plagues. It it brings forth, uh, at least in theory, the kingdom of heaven on earth.
Okay.
Okay. So it's just an era in the future history, no? Or I mean, when was this supposed to happen? The end of the world? Like when is that supposed to happen in the Christian mindset?
When Jesus was alive, he told some of his followers, I don't remember which gospel this is from, but he did say, some of you here will not perish before the last hour.
Oh, damn.
Like it was supposed to happen within, what, 50, 80 years? And then it didn't
Okay.
happen. And ever since then, people have been like, "Oh well, but it's gonna happen now. It's gonna happen now." And it's been 2,000 years of it's coming, the rapture, the rapture.
Well, yeah, that's interesting. What other ends of the world do appear in
There's
cultures?
also the Zoroastrian end of the world. If I remember correctly, it's called Frashokereti, something like that.
What is that?
Like,
What cultures?
Persians, if you're in the
Oh, the
audience,
Persian.
don't don't bully me for my pronunciation. Um, And it's a very similar thing. It describes a lake of fire that is going to feel like warm milk to the righteous, and that's going to burn the impurities out of the unrighteous.
Mm.
But what's interesting is there, everybody gets saved in the end. No one is condemned to hell forever. There are no souls destroyed. There's only painful purification. And after that, eternal bliss for everybody, good and bad.
Well, that's more
Okay.
positive.
Okay. Okay.
And in large part, the Christian conception of the end of the world is based on Zoroastrian conception, like a lot of Christian concepts are,
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
which is nice. Um, there's also the Islamic version of the end of the world. It's pretty similar to the Christian one. Like all the good people get judged as
Yeah.
good, the bad people get judged as bad, and then the good people
That's
are
like
happily ever after.
it's like the ideal end of the world for the people who believe in that specific religion, no?
Yep.
I think it's interesting because we see the end of the world and these events as like from our perspective, like rain of fire is gonna fall on us, and the
Suppose
scorpion people are gonna descend from heaven and just torture us, and it's gonna like I don't know specifically like all the details of these ends of the world, but we know what they represent to us, but what do they represent to the gods? I think that's my main question. Like, what does the end of the world represent for the gods? Because I don't know. It just makes me think about that. Um, what do
Well,
you
in
think?
Christianity and Islam and Zoroastrianism, well, Zoroastrianism is a different category. I'll deal with that later. In Christianity and Islam, there's only one God. So it's just like after the end of the world, and now the end of the world,
Hmm.
they just get to rule forever, and everyone is under them, worshiping them.
oh damn.
Okay.
In Zoroastrianism, it's a bit more complicated because it's not completely monotheistic. There are these beings called the Asuras. No, no, wait, that's in Hinduism. The Asuras are the good guys in Zoroastrianism. The the Devas. The Devas are the bad guys in Zoroastrianism. And they do get either destroyed or they turn to Yazatas, like spirits that can help Ahura Mazda, rule the world in harmony. But they're mostly destroyed. And the complete ruler of evil, the evil spirit, literally, that's what it translates to, Angramanyu. He's also banished from existence forever.
Okay.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
that's one thing that happens. But I think that's the perfect segue to talk about Ragnarok. Because in Ragnarok, like that's a properly polytheistic pantheon that we're dealing with.
From what culture?
That's
And the
Norse.
more, yeah.
Mm. Okay. Wow.
You know what
With the
happens to all of the
snake.
gods in
Uh-huh.
Ragnarok? Sorry?
Is it the same one from the Vikings, no? With the island
Yep.
with the snake and the okay.
Yes, yes, and the snake is important.
Okay.
In Ragnarok, all of the gods die, or most of
Mhm.
them
Okay.
at least.
Like with the people. Wow.
Yeah. It's mostly a it's mostly an apocalypse of the gods more than or an
Wow.
eschaton of the gods more than humanity.
Uh-huh.
Humanity also gets destroyed, but there's an interesting thing later. So the snake, it unwraps and it fights Thor. And
Oh.
Thor kills the snake, but the snake also kills Thor.
Oh.
Wow.
And then there's this wolf that was prophesized to destroy uh, Asgard in Ragnarok. So when the wolf is born, they bind him, and he keeps getting stronger and stronger and stronger. And so there's a whole thing with Tyr's arm and like they basically make it a game like, oh, let us tie you up. Oh, but how am I gonna know that you are not gonna just tie me up forever? Oh, you can bite this guy's arm while we tie you up. And the guy knows exactly what's gonna happen. They're not gonna untie the wolf. So the wolf bites his hand off. And that's the god of justice. But eventually the wolf gets so strong that he bursts out in Ragnarok and he eats Odin.
Mm.
Okay. Okay.
There's endless stories like that of like the mistakes of the gods coming back to haunt them at Ragnarok, and they all die.
That's such a cool perspective. Like gods make mistakes, not unlike like Christian gods. Well, a Christian god. That's such a unique perspective. I like that.
In a sense, it was the common perspective back in the day, like before Zoroastrianism and
Yeah,
the
I meant like
Abrahamic.
different perspective.
It's a different perspective, but I guess if you see it like from a philosophical point of view, I mean, it seems like for the Christian apocalypse, for example, where all evil is just purged and then everything just becomes like heaven, everything becomes the rule of God. That sounds kind of like a state of enlightenment, right? Like a state of pure good, a state of like everything is heaven and everything is
Which
there
makes it
is,
neutral.
which makes it, I don't know, like I compare that to death kind of thing, right? Because death in our experience is the only moment where we become like that perfect sedentary state
Mm-hmm.
of existence. I mean, you can debate if death is a state of existence or a state of non-existence, but it just seems like one is less. Um, I don't know. The Norse example is just a bit less optimistic, but at the same time a bit more realistic. And I don't know. That's my opinion on it. But both seem like just emptiness, like emptiness after the destruction. It's like a realm completely ruled by God. I don't know how,
With no polarity, no?
yeah, with no polarity and with no, I mean, there is no fire to fight, there is no, and I don't know how much bliss would that actually be, right? If it would be much more bliss than just everything disappearing and all the gods disappearing and everything just being destroyed. I don't
I
know.
mean, that's the
It
definition
it
of the
seems
end
like
of the world, no? I mean, it ends
Wait,
there.
wait. Hold up, hold up. Something does happen after Ragnarok.
what
There are
happens after
two humans
Ragnarok.
left in a garden, like
Adam
Adam
and
and Eve,
Eve.
Oh,
and there is a reincarnated Balder to guide them. Balder was Odin's favorite son.
Uh-huh.
Balder, it's actually his death that triggers Ragnarok. And then after Ragnarok is done, he sort of reincarnates to guide these new humans in this new world. But if you start drawing parallels between that and the biblical story, it gets wild. There's a guy on YouTube that
yeah.
does it. I'll try to find some of his videos to link in the description. It's absolutely crazy. But even in Ragnarok, the end, so called, is
Hmm.
not final.
So the end is the beginning in all cultures.
In a sense, yes.
Well,
That's very interesting. That's very, very interesting.
And
And
then there is the Hegelian and the Marxist eschaton,
okay.
which they see as imagine reality has contradictions and polarities, and these keep attacking each other and
mhm.
resolving continuously. Eventually, it gets to a point where they are perfectly resolved. And when you get to that point, that's the end of history. And after
Mhm.
that, people just live in bliss. And Hegel and Marx have different ideas of how that plays out, but the underlying idea of contradictions resolving themselves until they reach a perfect synthesis, that's common between them. And again, it's like it's the end of the world. It's the end of history, as they call it.
Yeah.
But
Hmm.
after that, stuff keeps happening.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Okay.
That's also very, very interesting. That kind of says that history cannot be without conflict, no, without polarity. Without
And without progress, right, and change, it seems like history needs change and needs progress to exist, right? And then
and
when
one
progress is killed and progress is reached to a limit, right?
that's the end
History,
of history, yeah.
that's the end of history. That's pretty cool. That's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
but
But
also progress is triggered by something that is uncomfortable, no? Being uncomfortable means you want
by
to be
conflict,
comfortable.
yeah,
Exactly, conflict. So polarity.
This is a
polarity, yeah.
part where I say all of the visions that we just described, except maybe kind of Ragnarok, are stupid.
hmm
They're
Yeah, I
you
retarded.
get
can't
that. Yeah.
I also agree, like you can't really reach that point, at least not in our dimension, no?
Exactly. And if you think this is the only dimension, then we're kind of fucked. Because once you get all of these ideas were thought up before the laws of thermodynamics were fully developed and discovered.
Uh-huh.
And that means that they weren't accounting for heat death,
hmm
the heat death of the universe. It's like that's the real end. It's not eternal bliss. It's not purification of everything. It's not the resolution of all contradictions.
It's a disintegration of the atoms.
Pretty much. It's the death of everything.
hmm
Humans, gods, all life, stars, everything.
Matter in general, yeah, just
And that's
hmm
a far
everything.
more bleak vision
Hmm
of the end of the world. That means, okay, most religions, most mythologies, except the Norse, except with Ragnarok, are trying to accelerate the apocalypse. Like, yes, for the Christians, it's like they can't
hmm
wait to have, the
Yeah,
Battle of
yeah.
Armageddon and
hmm
shit. Same with the
hmm
Muslims, same with the Zoroastrians, same with the Marxists, same with the Hegelians. With the Norse, at least it's a little bit like, maybe let's try to delay that. Let's try to delay the destruction of everyone and everything. And personally, I like that idea way more. Like, yeah, death is inevitable, but we shouldn't accept it. Like,
hmm
laying down our weapons,
Yeah.
and we should certainly not love it and try to bring it forth.
Exactly. I completely agree with that.
Yeah, totally. And this idea of like I was born to die, like just yeah,
How
people
Japanese?
go like,
How
yeah, I
Japanese?
was why was I born? I was born to die. It's like no.
You don't get the point.
I think we were born to live.
We were born to live, yeah, and that's it's funny, right? It's kind of like contradictory because Ragnarok does represent like an end, a catastrophic, like just boom, which seems kind of non-optimistic, but it leads to an optimistic life, where everything today and everything is, as long as it hasn't finished, it matters a lot more, right? It has a higher value because it's gonna end, right? And when you think that the end is gonna be bliss, that makes you want to stop all the suffering, right? So it's like
Hmm.
maybe a catastrophic end is better. I don't know.
Not in this channel. That's banned. That's banned.
I don't think they saw it. I don't think the camera saw
Okay,
it
good.
because the camera was on you guys.
Okay, 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 good.
No, no, I agree. There's, I think the ones that got this the most, like, or at least equivalent to the Norse, were the Greeks. The Greeks
hmm
always saw death as the worst thing possible. It's Achilles that says, I think it's in the Odyssey. that he would rather be a poor farmer in the living world than the king of all the dead.
Wow.
That's how shit death is
Yeah.
in the Greek worldview. And that's even more anti-death than the Norse in many ways. Because at least the
Yeah,
Norse,
totally.
with the Norse, you have two deaths. There's the death in this world, and if you're honorable in that death, if you die in battle, you go to
Hmm.
Valhalla. And
Mm.
if you're not honorable, you go to hell. It's also called hell. And once you get to Valhalla, you get to train and train and train and train to defend Asgard against Ragnarok and die.
Against Ragnarok. Yeah.
It's like the life is so good that it's worth it to die twice.
Hmm.
Wow.
Hmm.
Nice.
Yeah, I got that. I got that. That's pretty cool.
Hmm.
That's pretty cool.
And the more scientific end of it, now that we were talking about the heat death, there's this very interesting video. I don't know if you know the channel Kurzgesagt in
You
a
sent the
nutshell.
video to me.
Did I send the video about the like
How
how
to
the
extend the life. Yes.
yeah, yeah, that is so interesting. I don't know if I will be able to explain it, but like if you understood it, like help me out.
Yeah.
It's basically the way the brain works is that the it takes a lot of power for our brain to sustain our thinking, no? But if we are able to generate a battery to upload our consciousness to something. What are you? Sorry. Nila has something to say. Are you
Hello.
done?
Dilo.
Are you done?
It's Garm. That's one of the wolves that destroys Asgard in Ragnarok.
Yeah.
Be
She's
quiet.
dangerous. She's actually dangerous. She bites and she might like actually rip your arm off.
She wants the cheese. No, she's gone. Okay. Anyway, I don't know if I remember correctly, but it was something like this. The battery it ha is the battery is the if you if ancient civilization like future civilizations are able to harness so much power to be able to um
Keep the battery
energize.
going.
Hmm?
To keep the digitized consciousness going.
Exactly.
Mhm.
And then they slowed down the time for them. I don't know how to explain it.
I think the idea was that you cool down all of the machinery that's processing this stuff,
Uh-huh.
and that way it takes less energy,
Mm-hmm.
and you still experience your life as going at a normal pace, but it's actually trillions of years.
Exactly.
That
Yeah.
would be pretty
Basically,
cool.
yeah, we just link the video and you guys can see it for yourselves because we cannot explain it. It's very well made
But I
the
think
quick connect
something that
video.
I really did get from that video is to get that level of technological development, we have to become like a Kardashev to civilization, at least level two civilization. And
Mm-hmm.
the question is, well, how do we get there? And there we can get into a bunch of economics and political philosophy, and we'll dedicate so many videos to that coming soon.
Mm-hmm. Uh-huh.
But at the level of culture and disposition, I think what's really essential is to want to delay the eschaton, want to
Mm-hmm.
make life last as long as possible. And not just our own life, but life itself
Mm-hmm.
as a thing, as a principle, as something that exists. And
Yeah.
that's completely contrary to, for example, the Abrahamic disposition that sees death. as a good thing, that sees the apocalypse, the end
Hmm.
of the world as a good
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, but also it only takes a few lives for that to happen, right? It only takes a few like this mindset. It doesn't have to be the whole like civilization as a whole. It can also be like only few people who want to go through that, no? So that's
Yes.
that's more hopeful.
Yeah, yeah. It just has to be, let's say, an elite in some sense.
Hmm.
Like yeah, just a group of people working to make life freer and better and more abundant and more flourishing for everyone. And I'm
Yeah.
sure there's people out there. There's at least three of us here.
Fuck yeah.
We're trying our best. And yeah, no, we're trying.
What a cool topic, not the end of the world.
The end, the end.
This is the end.
I also watched a very interesting, like it's a it's a it's also like a pretty conspiranoic theory, I feel. But it's related to the Matrix. I don't know if you've heard of this theory that it seems like us humans are living each time more and more of our lives in the digital world, right? There, it seems like we have constructed through the World Wide Web like a completely parallel reality where we live and interact with each other without having to physically travel, and
Like
to
right now.
like right now, for example, yeah. And more and more people live a completely like shared reality, right? Where everyone watches the same viral ideas and everyone consumes the same viral I mean, yeah, that's the whole thing of virality and the internet, right? Where a big group of people just share the same idea, right? And this idea just gets to more people because of that. You can relate it to the psyop thing, and the idea is that this is just gonna keep getting like more and well, the situation is just going to keep getting more and more like that, right? To the point where all humans kind of just join in one singular
Consciousness.
consciousness, yeah.
I mean,
Which
I
some people, I mean, and the conspiracies say that some of the elites are actually like looking for that because of esoteric beliefs. They're looking for that apocalypse, right? That apocalypse where you use artificial intelligence and you use this interconnectivity through through the um, through the cybernetic world to reach a state of unification, right? And that is also like it seems like a kind of apocalypse because then the life of the individual becomes part of a much bigger organism, right? And then humans are not anymore like individual humans but one. And we have seen this in a lot of like sci-fi examples. You see it in Star Trek with a I don't know, I think they're like the Grog or something like that. You see it in Rick and Morty. There's one episode where Rick has an affair with an alien race that all share the same consciousness, right? But they're all like individuals and stuff, which is very funny. If you have watched that episode, you know. And the idea is again that it reaches like a to an immortal organism, right? You reach this immortal organism that is composed by human beings that all share the same consciousness, and it just can't die. It reaches that level of technological advancement that And what happens with immortality? I think the majority of people can agree that immortality is kind of not that desirable, right? Because
Mhm.
again, it represents a just constant state of wonder, right? There is a point where you just have learned everything there is to learn, and the universe and life just doesn't seem as interesting anymore.
Yeah.
And then the idea is that this immortal organism gets so bored of being immortal, it creates a new reality, or it can become mortal again, right? And that's you can relate that like to the Matrix, or you can relate it to the after Ragnarok thing, where you have now again two
Christianity,
humans that
right?
start again, right? And
God got
start
bored of being immortal and he was like, nah,
Mhm.
kill me, guys. Kill me in
and
the
it
most
it
brutal way imaginable.
yeah, basically. And you enter this cycle, right? This cycle of development, right? And history that points toward development until a point you cannot develop anymore, and you have reached immortality, right? Which is like the highest level of development.
Big Bang.
And then it's like, oh shit, this is actually not that fun. And so you create another reality is created where things can end again.
Isn't that
And there
also
you have development again. And it's
exactly? It's isn't that also the same as like I don't remember this guy's name, like
the
Ross,
Penrose,
the
the
Penrose diagram. So basically the Big Bang and then it goes again and that's the same shit.
Yeah, and if we live in a cyclical universe that changes certainly the view of the eschaton, that aligns more with the Hindu idea
Mhm.
of the yugas. And
Oh,
the eschaton is just the Kali Yuga, the era of death and destruction. And then after there's new ages of cool stuff. But if you look at a diagram of like Hindu cyclical cosmology, the vast majority is just death and horrible
oh
stuff.
damn. Yay.
Which I mean, it is also true for Penrose diagrams,
Yeah, no, definitely.
which is pretty insane. That's pretty cool.
It is. It is. It is pretty cool.
But I do have something to say about the immortality thing. I think with the right alignment, with the right spirituality, one would be able to enjoy immortality.
hmm.
And I think that's the kind of mindset that I would love to help people get towards, where they
But
think, yes,
what about the solitary immortality?
like just one person's immortal and everyone around them is
It's
dying.
just one organism of immortality that is just one consciousness, because that's the idea of the immortal, connected, united being organism, where you have the individual human being that just connects its consciousness into this one thing that becomes one consciousness. And then you have this one conscious organism that just
You can't
wanders.
create anything new from that. You don't have any
Yeah.
new inputs.
And it's inefficient. Like, computationally speaking, distributed cognition is way more efficient
Yeah.
than centralized cognition. And that's a big
Mhm.
thing in economics. That's why communist governments always fail.
Oh, damn. So
And I
it's all
know
interconnected.
the Marxists are going to be so pissed in the audience if they watch this. Like, what do you mean communist government? There is no
Nah, fuck
communist
them.
government. Communism is stateless. Socialism is there can be socialist governments, but not communist governments. Yeah, well, you know what I'm talking about, so
Listen,
shut
listen.
up.
If you're a Marxist, grab your thumb and put it up your ass. And that's my message to you.
In Minecraft. In Minecraft.
No,
Okay.
I'm kidding. I respect. Marxists, I love you. I love you. Even if you might have your flaws, but We're all in this together. We're
Thumbs
all
up
in this
fixes
together.
everything.
Yeah, and if you like grabbing your thumb and putting it up your ass, I also respect that. I also respect that. No
Well, make sure
judgment.
to take this video and give it a thumbs up, uh, wherever you want it.
Or two. I respect that too. I respect that too.
Well, until then,
Until the
see
end
you
of
when
the
the world
world.
ends. Happy Eschatology.
Peace.
Like and subscribe.